Okay, hello, good afternoon. So, welcome back sa Fundamentals of Accountancy, Business, and Management 1 natin. Okay? So, welcome sa Lesson 5 natin ng Accountancy, Business, and Management 1. So, if you have any queries regarding our past lessons, mag-message lang kayo sa GC natin or sa messenger natin, okay? So, sa lesson 5 natin, papag-aralan natin na if you have your modules with you, please have your modules with you so that you can go along with our discussion, okay? Ang lesson natin is basic classification of business and of course, accounting principles and concepts. So, we will discuss those topics. So, at the end of the lesson, you should be able to identify different types of business and generally accepted accounting principles, determine the purpose in putting up a business, explain the various accounting principles and concepts, and differentiate the difference of each concepts and principles according to its importance in accounting, and to know the what are the classification of business. Okay, so that is for our lesson 5. Okay.
Ayan, so this is the service business and the manufacturing business and also the merchandising business. So, yun yung mga ginagawa. Ano ba yung ginagawa sa service business? Ano ba yung ginagawa sa merchandising business? Ano ba yung ginagawa dun sa manufacturing business natin? Now, let's start with the service business. So when we say service businesses, a service type of business provides intangible products. So meaning hindi mo siya nahahawakan. Products with no physical form. So service type firms offer yung mga professional skills, expertise, yung mga advisor natin, and other similar products. So, examples of service business are, yung mga schools natin, repair shops, hair salons, banks, accounting firms, and law firms. Hospitals, that is considered also a service business kasi service nila yung provide nila and service yung binabayaran mo sa kanila. So service businesses generates income by providing services to the customers. So they are providing services to the customer. Kung nakikita nyo tong picture na to, may naglilinis, so that is considered a service business. Now, the following are some businesses in the service industry. So, number 1 is service business. Typical charge for labor or other services provided to government, to customers, and to other business. So, ito yung mga interior decorators, mga consulting firms, law firms, accounting firms, service business, yung mga provide nila dyan. So, meaning nga ng accounting natin is, it is accounting, it is a service activity. So, that is a service activity, yung accounting natin, accounting firms. And entertainers are service businesses. Yung mga ABS-CBN natin, Kapamilya Channel, and then yung GMA, those are businesses that provide services that are rendering services. Rendering services to their customers. So, next is the financial services. So, ito na yung mga, it includes your banks and other companies that generate profit through investment and management of capital. So, ito na yung mga banking institutions natin kung saan tayo umuutang. So, they are providing a services for us. So, ano pa yung examples ng businesses na nagpo-provide ng service? So, transportation businesses. Ayan. Deliver goods and individuals to their destination for a fee. Ayan. Yung mga sinasakpap, habang nagpapadeliver tayo ng goods, yan, bulk goods, yan, yung mga transportation na business natin. And then, we have also the utilities business. So, produce public services such as electricity or sewage treatment, usually under a government services. So, yung mga utilities natin. So, and also sa transportation business, yung mga natin, yung mga buses natin, yung mga jeep, multi-cabs, ayan. Those are providing a service in exchange of our, yan, babayaran natin sila. So those are the examples of service industry. So, ano yung mga examples natin na service business? Ano yung mga businesses natin dito sa Tabuk na nag-o-offer ng kanilang services? Ayan, yung mga schools. Ayan, example natin dito sa school. Sa KSU, KCST. Ayan, so lahat ng mga schools na nag-ooperate dito sa Tabuk. Ano pa yung mga hospitals natin? May law firm ba tayo? Yan, meron. Yung mga natin, yung mga accounting firm, ayan. Nagpro-provide sila ng service business. Now, let's go to number 2, merchandising businesses. So, ano ba ang sinasabi dito sa merchandising business? So, this type of business buys products at wholesale price and sells the same at a retail price. So, they are known as, ito yung buy and sell business natin. So, they make a profit by selling the products at a higher price that yung pinurchase nilang products, pero ibebenta nila at a higher cost. Ayan. A merchandising businesses sells a product without changing its form. So, hindi nila pinapalit kung ano yung binili nila, yun din yung ibebenta nila. So, example, yung mga grocery natin, grocery stores, convenience stores, yung mga distributors natin, yung mga resellers natin online, kung ano yung binili nila, yun din yung ibebenta nila. So, hindi nila papalitan yung form niya or hindi sila magdadagdag ng attributes dun sa product. So, that is merchandising business. So, kapag merchandising business, buy and sell. Ang keyword mo doon. So, remember that. Take note of that. Merchandising business, buy and sell. So, what are the example of merchandising industry? So, ito yung mga retailers natin, distributors natin. Act as a middleman and get goods produced by manufacturers to the intended consumers. So, they make their profits by marking up their prices. So, kapag bumili siya ng sleeper, magkano yung pinambili niya ng sleeper? Na isa, 150, then ibenta niya ng 180, may tubo siya ng 30 pesos. So, yun yung example ng merchandising business natin. So, most stores and catalog companies are distributors or retailers. Retailers ang tawag doon pag nag-buy and sell ka, distributor ka. Ayan, that is your Ang business mo is buy and sell. Yan ang merchandising business. So, ito. Kaya may cash ka, pumili ka ng merchandise, and then you sell it to the customer, and then you collect the payment to the customer, and then nagkaroon ka ng cash. So, ganun lang yon, paikot-ikot lang. Pero, may tubo ka. Diba? And when we say manufacturing businesses, ano ba ang example ng, ano ba ang ibig sabihin ng manufacturing business? So, unlike a merchandising business, a manufacturing business buys a product with the intention of using them as materials in making a new, product. Yan. Thus, there is a transformation of the products you purchase. A manufacturing business combines raw materials, labor, and factory overhead in its production process. So, the manufactured goods will then be sold to the customer. So, pag sinabi nating manufacturing business, you turn the raw materials into new product para yun yung ibenta mo. For example, ano yung may example niya? Ay kukuha ka ng mga parts ng sasakyan, then i-assemble mo, then that's already a new product. Ayan, some examples of companies in the manufacturing industry are as follows. So, number 1 is agriculture and mining business. Yan, yung nagpo-produce ng raw materials such as plants or minerals. Yan yung mga manufacturing business natin. So, number second is the manufacturers. So, sino ba si manufacturers? Produce product either from raw materials or from component parts. Ito yung example natin kanina. Then, sell their products at a profit. For example, yung cards natin, clothing, or yung mga pipes natin. Basta lahat ng businesses na nagmamanufacture. That may raw materials sila, and then gawin nila they will turn the raw materials into a new product. So that is manufacturing business. So ano ba yung mga examples ng manufacturing business natin dito? What are the examples? Yung nagpo-produce ng mga wines dito sa Kalinga. Ayan, Bugnay wine. That is considered your that is considered manufacturing business. Next is the real estate business. So, sell, rent, and develop properties, including land, residential homes, and other buildings. So, bibili ka, magpaparent ka, pwede mo siya i-develop yung property. Gawin mo siyang papagawa ka ng building, and then pwede mo siyang iparent. That is your real estate business pag under manufacturing industry. Ayan, that is. So that are the three classifications of business, or different types of business. We have service business, manufacturing business, and merchandising business. Pag service business na sinasabi natin, nag-over ka, nagre-rendered ka ng services to a customer. Pag merchandising business naman, nag-buy and sell ka. You buy the product and you sell the product at a higher price. Pag manufacturing business naman, bibili ka ng raw materials mo, and that raw materials, you will turn the raw materials into a new product para yun yung ibenta mo. So, I hope naintindihan natin. Now, let's go to income measurement ng service business. So, magsasolve tayo kung paano na-measure yung income under service business. So, let's take this problem number 1. So, a barber shop earned 60,000 during the month of April. Ayan. Salaries paid to the barbers. Yeah, take note of that. Salaries paid to the barbers amounted to 20,000. Utilities paid for is 6,000. And rent of this the space for the barber shop is 5,000. So, magkano yung net income ng barber shop na yon, which is a service business. So, si barber shop nag-earn siya ng 60,000 for the month of April. Ngayon, dito sa formula, ayan, service revenue. So, ilalagay mo yung service revenue mo, iless mo yung operating expenses. And then, ito na yung net income or loss. Now, we are going to solve the problem number 1. So, sabi dito, the barber shop earns 60,000. So, magkano yung service revenue mo? 60,000. Ngayon, iless mo yung mga operating expenses mo. Magkano ba yung operating expenses mo? Sabi dito sa salaries, nagbayad ka daw ng 20,000. So, ilagay mo dito, 20,000. Nagbayad ka rin daw ng 6,000 para sa utilities mo. Ito yung mga kuryente na ginamit mo. Yung tubig na ginamit mo. Ayan. And then, may rent ka pa na 5,000. May rent expense ka pa na 5,000. So, i-compute mo lahat itong operating expenses. So, magkano ba yan? Let's check it. So, 20,000 plus 6,000, which is 26,000 plus 5,000. Ayan, may 31,000 tayo na operating expense. Ngayon, iless mo siya sa service revenue. So, na 60,000. So, magkano na yan? 60,000. Tingnan natin kung tama. I-compute natin. Ayan, 60,000 less 31. Ayan, magkano na yung... So, ang net income mo is 29,000. So, may natira ka pang 29,000 out of sa service revenue na 60,000. Niles mo na yung operating expenses mo na 31,000, may net income ka ngayon na 29,000. So, that is for your service business. Kung paano i-compute yung income sa service business. Ayan. I hope naintindihan. Now, let's go to problem number 2. Paano naman natin i-compute yung income dun sa merchandising business natin? Now, let's read the problem. A grocery store earned 225,000 from selling their goods during the month of April. So, these goods were first purchased at an amount of 160,000. So, salaries paid to employees is 25,000. And then, your utilities, which is 4,000, and also the rent of the selling area is 6,000. So, how much is the net income? Ayan. Net income of the grocery. So, magkano yung net income ng grocery na yan? So, sabi niya, nag-earn daw siya ng 225,000 from selling their goods. So, ilalagay mo dito, ito yung formula for merchandising business. So, yung sales revenue mo, and then iles mo yung cost of goods sold, and then, syempre, nagkaroon ka na ng gross profit. So, gross profit yun. So, and then, iles mo na naman yung operating expenses mo. And then, lalabas dito kung net income yan or net loss. Ayan. So, kunin natin yung sales revenue. Nagkano yung sales revenue? So, that is 225,000. And then, yung cost of goods sold mo, sabi dito, these goods sold were first purchased at an amount of, 160,000. So, iles mo to. So, ang cost of goods sold niya is 160,000. So, let's check it kung tama. So, 225 minus 160,000. So, tama yun. Gross profit niya is 65,000. Now, iles mo na naman yung operating expenses mo. So, ano ba yung mga naka-state dito ng operating expense? Salaries na 25,000. Ayan, i-compute natin. Plus, yung 4,000 na utilities. And then, yung renta mo na 6,000. Ayan. Ayan, we have 35,000 yung amount ng operating expenses mo. Ngayon, iles mo siya sa gross profit na na-compute mo kanina. So, magkano yung 65,000? Magkano yung gross profit mo? That is 65,000. Ayan, yung net income mo is 30,000. So, may net income siya. So, ganito mag-compute ng income sa merchandising business. Now, let's go to measurement of the manufacturing business. So, paano ba nami-measure yung income dun sa manufacturing business natin? Now, let's take the problem number 3. Let's read it. So, a car manufacturing company sold 2 cars totaling 3 million. Ayan. During the month of April. Car parts and materials used for these cars amounted to, 600,000 yung labor cost niya. And, yung car parts and materials pala is 600,000. And yung labor cost niya is 800,000. And other indirect costs to manufacture the cars amounted to 100,000. Ayan. Salaries paid to office employees amounted to 50,000. Utilities 20,000, and rent of the selling area and office space is 10,000. So, how much is the net income of the car company? So, ganito mo siya isosold sa manufacturing business. So, we have your sales revenue. Ayan, parehas sila ni merchandising. Iles mo din yung cost of goods sold mo. And then, we to come up with the gross profit. And then, dun sa gross profit na yon, iles mo din yung operating expenses mo. Para makuha mo yung net income or net loss. So, kunin natin muna yung sales revenue. So, what is the sales revenue? Ano yung amount niya dun sa dalawang car na nabenta niya during the month of April? So, magkano yun? We have 3 million. Ayan. 3 million yung cost ay yung bayad ng dalawang sasakyan. Ngayon, i-less mo yung cost of goods sold mo. So, magkano yung binili niya para sa car parts? So, we have 600,000 para sa materials, di ba? And then, we have also the labor, which is 800,000. And also, the overhead cost na 100,000. So, to sum up those amount, magkano yan? So, 7, 8, yan. 1,500,000. Yan. Yung gross profit mo na nabenta mo dun sa dalawang sasakyan, may gross profit ka na 1,500,000. Ngayon, hindi pa dun nagtatapos. I-less mo muna yung mga operating expenses mo. So, nandito. Less your operating expenses. Magkano yung sa salaries paid? Sa salary na binayaran mo? So, that is 50,000. And sa utilities naman, 20,000. And sa rent expense, 10,000. So, magkano yan yung operating expenses mo? So, we have 80,000. So, ang laki pala ng net income natin. So, ilas natin yung gross profit mo, which is 1,500,000, I should say. Ilas mo yung operating expenses mo, which is 80,000. Ayan, 1,420,000 yung net income mo dun sa dalawang sasakyan na nabenta mo. Ang laki pala ng income dun sa manufacturing business. Matry nga yan. So, I hope that you understand kung paano i-measure yung income ng different types of businesses natin. Yung sa service business, merchandising business, and manufacturing business. Now, let's go to the accounting concepts and principles. So, at the end of the video, you will be able to define and explain the different accounting concepts and principles. Explain the generally accepted accounting principles in the Philippines. Ayan. So, papag-aralan natin lahat yan. Now, let's go to ano ba itong tinatawag nating generally accepted accounting principles or GAAP? Well, in accounting, hindi lang kasi tayo basta re-record ng transaction, then ilalagay natin kung magkano. But actually, we are guided by the different concepts and principles that we need to follow. So, ang generally accepted accounting principle is, in the Philippines, the generally accepted accounting principles natin are the Philippine Financial Reporting Standards and the Philippine Accounting Standard or the PAS. So these PFRS and the PAS are adopted from the IFRS or the International Financial Reporting Standard or the International Accounting Standard, which is doon nababase yung PFRS natin and the PAS natin. So these Philippine Financial Reporting Standards and the Philippine Accounting Standard are our guiding principles on how to record transactions. So kapag may binili ka, ganito, magkano mo siya ire-record. Pag ganito yung manangyari, ganito mo siya ire-record. So ganun yung principles and concepts dun sa PFRS and PAS. So, kapag ganito naman yung nangyari, ganito mo siya ipapakita. So, ganito yung mga information na kailangan ilagay mo sa financial report or sa FS, financial statement. So, GAAP are our guiding principles as an accountants. Ayan. On how we are, ayan, yung mga accountant natin, on how they are able to record transactions appropriately. So, it actually helps for consistency and uniformity of recordings. Ayan. Recordings in accounting. So, that is your generally accepted accounting principles. So, isa-isahin natin yung mga accounting principles and concepts natin. Now, let's start with the economic entity concept. So, ano yung nangyayari dito sa economic entity concept? So, sabi dito, the personal transaction of the owner are separate from that of the business he or she owns. Ayan. So, kung ano yung transaction sa business transaction yun transaction lang yun ng business. Kung ano naman yung transaction ni owner, transaction lang yun ni owner. So, hindi mo siya dapat pagsama-samahin. So, when the owner spend money, ayan, for the wedding ng anak niya at personal niyang pera, yon, that is not a business transaction. And anything that is happening in the business is not related to what happened personally with the owner. Ayan. So, in the economic entity concept is that we need to put a border about what is happening on the personal life of the owner and the transactions of the business. So, magkaiba yan. Yan yung sinasabi ni economic entity concept. So, I hope na nakuha ninyo. Now, let's go to accrual basis of accounting. Ito na yung tinatawag nating accrual concept. So, pag sinabi nating accrual concept, ayan, revenue is recorded when earned, expenses are recorded when it happens, regardless of when cash is received or paid. So, kahit hindi mo natanggap yung pera or kahit hindi ka nagbayad, i-record mo pa rin yung transaction mo as a revenue or as an expense. So, let's take this example dito sa box. So, kapag For example, in the revenue event natin, yan, in January 1, naka-receive mo lang yung bayad ng cost. So, for happen in January 1 at na-receive mo lang yung revenue event na nangyari sa January, na-receive mo lang yung bayad ng customer sa'yo ng February, yung transaction mo sa January, you need to record that on January, even though cash is not yet received. And then, if you have expenses also by the January, pero nabayaran mo lang siya ng February, i-record mo pa rin siya ng January kasi dun mo siya binayaran. I-record mo pa rin siya ng January kasi yun yung expenses mo yun for the January, kahit binayaran mo siya on February. So, that is your account accrual concept. Pag natanggap mo na perform mo na yung service, dun mo siya i-record. Pag nandun na yung payment na babayaran mo, dun mo siya i-record. So, regardless kung disregard natin kung ano yung day na natanggap mo yung cash or kung ano yung day na nagbayad ka. Ayan, basta na-earn mo yung revenue, i-record mo. Pero, and then, nangyari na yung expenses mo, i-record mo pa rin. So, that is your accrual concept. So, I hope na naintindihan. Now, let's go to going concern. So, when we say going concern, the company will continue, operating indefinitely until the foreseeable future, and that company closure is not imminent. So, sinabi natin going concern, we are looking in the business firm as it will not close forever. Ayan. So, the business will still continue to operate. Ayan. Going concern, principle are your guiding principle that you record transactions as if there is no closure. Because we don't need to put that in mind because our mind setting that the business will continue to operate. Ayan, yun yung sinasabi ng going concern concept natin. The business is will continue to operate. Now, let's take the monetary measurement concept. So, ano naman itong sinasabi ni monetary measurement concept? So, transactions are expressed in a monetary unit of measurement. So, in the Philippines, syempre, you will be recording transactions in a Philippine peso. Alangan naman sa dollar mo siya i-record. So, maiintindihan pa ba na magagamit ng FS nun? So, hindi. Magbabase tayo sa currency natin, which is the peso. Ayan. So, that is monetary measurement concept. Now, let's go to time period. So, sabi ni... Ano ba itong sinasabi natin sa time period na to? So, transactions are summarized and reported at regular time intervals. So, may tinatawag tayong calendar year and fiscal year. So, when we say calendar year, magi-start tayo sa January 1 to December 31. So, when we say naman fiscal year, any starting point or months plus 12 months. So, For example, dito sa atin, sa SIAC, fiscal year tayo kasi nag-start yung school year, nagsisimula tayo, nag-start yung school year natin sa August 20, for example, ngayon, August 2021, and mag-e-end siya ng July 2022. So, yun yung yun yung school year natin. And ang tawag doon is fiscal year. So, hindi tayo sa calendar. Fiscal year tayo. So, yun yung tinatawag nating time period. Now, let's go to cost principle. So, ano naman yung sinasabi dito sa cost principle natin? Amounts shown in financial reports are historical costs. Ayan. Ibig sabihin, kung magkano yung na-receive mo na pera, kung magkano yung pinambili mo ng bagay na yan, nung time na yon, yun ang i-record mo. That is historical cost na sinasabi nila. Kahit anong mangyari, for example, kung nakakita ka ng accounting report noong 2010, yun talaga siya. Kung magkano siya noong 2010. So, we do not adjust it for inflation na ngayong 2021 napalitan natin yung FS natin sa 2020. Ginawa nating amount, may iba yon. So, hindi yun pwede. So, ang cost principle, kung magkano yung amount niya ngayon, yun yung i-record mo. Hindi yung yung i-record mo is yung amount niya in the future. So, hindi yun pwede. So, that is your cost principle. Now, let's go to full disclosure principle. So, ano naman itong sinasabi niya? Full disclosure principle. So, sufficient information for informed judgment. Ayan. So, meaning, the accountant should, include all the information needed so that the readers of the FS or the financial statement will have informed judgment. So, kailangan sundin kung ano yung sa accounting standards natin. Kung ano yung dinidisclose or sinasabi sa financial statements natin. So, in accounting, we are required to disclose everything. Ayan. Para malinaw na yung na ibibigay natin ay sufficient so that the reader, yung babasa sa FS mo can make a good judgment and a good decision. So, yun yung sinasabi ni full disclosure principle. And next is, we have also the matching principle. So, when we say matching principle, matching revenues with expenses to know the profit of the business. So, imamatch mo yung expenses mo sa revenue mo. So, hindi pwede na maglilista ka lang lahat ng kinita mo. Hindi rin pwede na maglista ka lang ng lahat ng ginastos mo. Hindi siya tama. So, in accounting, we need to match them together. So, ito lahat ng kinita ko, then that is your revenue. Ito lahat yung ginastos ko, then that is your expenses. And then, both of them should be matched together. So, i-match mo siya. So, yung concept na income statement, ayan, dyan nalalabas yung concept ng income statement natin. Kung mas malaki yung revenue over over yung expenses mo, then well and good, may net income ka. Pero kung mas malaki yung expenses mo dun sa revenue mo, then there is something wrong with your business. May loss ka. Ayan. So it is very important to match your expenses and your revenue para alam mo din kung kumikita yung business mo, di ba? So that is your matching principle. Ayan, paano naman pag revenue recognition principle? So, recognize revenue when goods are sold or services are rendered regardless of a cash receipt. So, para rin siyang si accrual concept na i-record mo na yung services na rendered mo, i-record mo na yung nabenta mong goods dun sa date na yon. Kahit wala pa siyang bayad or kahit wala pa siyang bayad. So, that is, yan. You record revenue when it happens, not when cash is received from the customer. So, that is your revenue recognition principle na sinasabi natin. So, ano pa yung mga accounting principle natin? Yan, we have the materiality principle. So, ano bang sinasabi ni materiality principle? So, in accounting, materiality refers to the impact of an omission or misstatement of information in a company's financial statements. Ayan. On the user of those statements. So, if it is probable that users of the financial statements would have altered their actions if the information had not been omitted or misstated, then the item is considered to be material. So, materiality. So, it is something about an amount na kunyari nagkamali yung sa FS. Pagka yung sa desisyon mo nagbago dahil dun sa pagkakamali na yon, ibig sabihin the item is material. So if it is changes or affects your decision because of that error na nangyari dun sa FS, then parang yung impact niya malaki. So the amount then it is charged or affects your decisions. Yan, parang yung impact niya sa'yo is malaki. So, the amount is material. So, for example, yung company with a cash of, 100 million. Pero, may missing na napagtanto ng accountant, may missing na 1,000. So, yung amount na 1,000 na yon might not be too material. Yung para sa desisyon na hindi na magbago kasi hindi ka naman affected. Yan, hindi ka affected dun sa 1,000 na nawawala. So the amount is already a material. So, hindi ka naman affected dun sa nawalang 1K na yon. So, but kung yung cash ng business is only 500 or 5,000 tapos may nawawalang 1K, then that is already a material. Ayan. There is no certain percentage to know that an item is material or not. So, nasa ano mo yan, nasa decision ng isang ng accountant. So, for example, compare nga natin yung 100 million yung cash mo, then yung nawala lang naman 1K. Pero kapag 5K naman na yung pera ng business, tapos nawala pa yung 1K, that is the amount is considered material. So, sabi nga dito, walang percentage to know that an item is material or not. So, it is based on a sound judgment lang na isang accountant. So, that is, something is omitted and your decision was not changed. By that, I think the item is material. So, kapag hindi na nag-change naman yung decision mo, then, yung item is material. So, yun yung sinasabi ng materiality concept natin. Now, let's go to your neutrality. So, ano naman sinasabi na neutrality principle? Recording and reporting process should be performed with independence, which is free. Ayan. Free from bias. Ayan. So, pag sinabi nating free from bias, ibig sabihin kung ano yung nangyaring transaction, i-record mo. Gawin lang yun lang yung i-record mo. For example, your company would may magi-invest sa iyo na company. Ayan. Nalaman mo na ganito yung gusto ng investors mo na other company. So, sinabi mo sa accountant, palitan mo yung amount ng FS kasi ganito yung gusto ng company na mag-i-invest sa atin. So, that is not already a neutrality. So, ganito yung, papalitan mo yung FS para lang magustuhan, para lang mag-invest yung isang investors mo, para lang makakuha ka ng investors, no? That is hindi yun tama. Ayan. Wala nang neutrality doon. Ayan. Next is the relevance. So, ano naman tong relevance na sinasabi nila? So, a relevant information helps users of the financial statement provide a decision correctly. Ayan. Be it in a present situation or a future circumstances. These decisions are based on past performance of the organization and correct past mistakes. So, an item is considered relevant pag may effect sa'yo. Pag affected ka, ibig sabihin relevant sa iyo yun. Pag affected yung business dun sa nangyari, meaning may relevancy of information. Faithful representation. So, the financial statement should contain faithfully represented transactions and events during a period. So, faithful representation means that these transactions and events should be accounted for in their true economic substance rather than its legal forms. Sabi niya, Your financial statement should be faithfully represented. And to be able to achieve that certain level of faithfulness, it should be completeness. Magkaroon ng completeness. It should be neutral and free from error. Ayan. Yan yung faithful representation na sinasabi. Complete siya, neutral siya, and free from bias. So when we say completeness, meaning lahat ng transaction na record ng maayos. Ayan. Pag completeness na sinabi natin, lahat ng transaction ay ire-record mo or na-i-record ng maayos. So that is your faithful representation. Kailangan may completeness, neutral, and free from bias. Paano naman pag comparability principle? Comparability in the financial statement means that one accounting period must be comparable to another period. Ayan, in order for the users to determine meaningful conclusions and decisions about the financial affairs of the organization. So, may dalawa tayong types ng comparability. Ayan, intra-comparability and the inter-comparability. So, when we say intra-comparability, we are comparing our own financial statement with our FS of a different year. So, for example, i-compare mo yung financial statement mo ng 2019 sa 2020. Pwedeng compare mo yung 2020 sa 2021. So, that is the intra-comparability. So, when we say inter-comparability naman, you are comparing your financial statement to other companies. Ayan. Kino-compare mo yung financial statement mo sa ibang kumpanya. Syempre, within the same industry naman. Alam nga naman na i-compare mo yung financial statement mo, nag-offer ka ng service sa merchandising. So, syempre, dapat magkaparehas yan na kapag service industry, then service, i-compare mo sa FS ng isang service industry. Kapag manufacturing or merchandising business naman yan, then i-compare mo sa merchandising business or sa merchandising industry or sa manufacturing industry. So, that is your two types of comparability, intra-comparability and the inter-comparability. Para din magkaroon ng consistency. Pag cash talaga. Pag sinabi natin consistency naman, ayan, pag cash mo siya i-record. Hindi mo siya i-record ng utang. Next is the understandability. Ayan. Pag sinabi nating understandability, the transactions and events must be presented in the financial statements in a way that are easily understandable by the users. Yan. Who can easily comprehend the accounted, reported economic activities that are summarized in the report. So, pag sinabi nating understandability, kailangan yung financial statement mo o yung financial report mo ay naiintindihan kahit sinong babasa. Pero syempre, kailangan yung babasa naman may knowledge naman. man lang sa business at sa accounting. So, it is a two-way process. Yung babasa dun sa FS, kailangan syempre may knowledge sa business and the accounting. Kailangan naman yung FS mo nababasa or naiintindihan ng mga readers na FS na yan. So, that is your understandability. Now, let's go to the timeliness. Ayan. Timeliness in accounting is a principle that refers to the need that all accounting information be presented to the users of the financial statement on time so that they can make the rightful decisions. So, kapag timeliness, dapat quick tayo kung kailan nangyari yung transaction. Agad natin i-record para maging timely. Because remember, if the transaction are not timely, then the reports are not relevant. Ayan. Para makagawa rin yung management ng right decision for the business or for the organization. So, that is your timeliness principle.
Okay, so natapos na natin yung topic 4, lesson 5, which is the classification of business and the accounting principles and the concept. Now, let's go to your requirements. Okay, let's discuss one by one. Okay, for your activity 1, ayan, write true if the statement is correct and false if the statement is incorrect. So, true or false lang yan. So, kung binasa yun yung module, nanood kayo dun sa video, alam nyo sasagutan yan. Okay? For activity 2, instruction, identify the following. So, i-identify nyo lang kung ano yung accounting principles or concepts na nabanggit dito sa activity 2. So, that is 1 to 10. Okay? And for your activity 3, list down business establishments in Tabuk City in the following categories. So, service business, merchandising business, manufacturing business. And for your activity 4, choose one service, merchandising, and manufacturing in your above list and make a detailed description of the business. So, business name, products or services, location, contribution to the Tabuk City in terms of economic activity. So, mamili lang kayo ng isa dito, sasagot nyo dito sa activity number 3 and try to discuss it and give details on it. Okay? So, these are your activity for lesson 5. So, if you have any queries regarding the lessons or the topics, feel free to message me on the messenger. Okay? That ends our lessons, our lecture. I hope that you learned something today. And mag-ingat pa rin tayo and God bless.